Hey everyone, this is Luck powering on. How goes it, everyone?
Yo, Lux hungover as fuck.
Don't tell him that, don't tell him that.
I avoided that fate, luckily, because I went to bed early like an old man.
And
Um,
I doubled down. It's kind of embarrassing. I might have gotten away with it if it wasn't for the fact that my ma had heard me throwing up in the morning. Oops.
oops. Okay, so, ignore Lux mildly hot mic there. We're here for a short one today. A little stopgap before we properly start Kingdom Hearts 2. Consider this our little prologue, essentially, as we discuss the cutscene movie that we watched from the collection, as well as, I would also like to use this time to discuss the story so far in general. You know what? Because Luck is starting to realize that there's some lore to this, right? You're getting to the point.
Lore all caps, of
You're getting to the point
course.
where, yeah, getting to the point where there's where now you're starting to recognize all those nouns that I keep throwing around. I remember midway through us watching this, you like threw at me some kind of explanation, and you had to pause, realizing that you now speak Kingdom Hearts to some extent,
Yes.
which was
I
my
was doing my
goal
best to
here.
paraphrase that.
That was the whole reason I put you through this. I wanted you to learn how to speak Kingdom Hearts. So it's going pretty well. But yeah, short one today. Partially because I have been in a bit of a vacation metaphor refantasio binge ever since I got back from my family trip. So so I'm
And
eager
I
to get
just
back
brought
into
shame
that
upon
one.
my family. That's all I've done.
Amazing. So, we watched this cutscene movie. I was hyping it up a lot, so I think I was pleasantly surprised when you actually enjoyed it. I feared that I hyped it up too much, honestly.
Oh no, no, I definitely enjoyed it.
Hmm. Oh yeah, also I didn't mention the background that we're going to be using for this one as well as for KH2. This one is the result of me being lazy and just kind of pixelating a screen grab from KH3, I think. So
The fucking tower is
yeah,
important.
yeah, so don't mind it. Maybe I'll do a draw over at some point, otherwise otherwise just keep that in mind.
Special contents.
Yeah, yeah. The movie. I'm gonna call it Days, the Days movie slash game for the sake of brevity, rather than calling it by the entire long fucking title. I'll like I don't know a lot of Kingdom Hearts. The titles are of course infamous. Like from this point on, basically. Oh shit, my coaster followed the cup. Startling. Okay. So, because I was hosting, I was playing the movie on my PC. Luck took the notes for us. So, Luck took the notes.
Hello.
Hey Mozzie, hey
Which is
Mozzie.
already a bad sign. Hey, Mozzie.
We're not even
But
playing a
yeah, it's
game
already a
today.
bad.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
but
it's already a bad sign that I'm the note taker.
that means Luck is more or less guiding the discussion here.
Hmm.
So Luck, what would you say this movie? What would you say this game is about? Like, how would you
There's a
give your
game.
how would you give your like three maybe like one sentence pitch?
All right. One sentence pitch for the lore. Let's see. A trio of people indoctrinated, each find their individuality as they grow to love each other, and hey, I'll include the spoiler, and also learn to cope with loss.
Yeah, I would put the I've heard this game described because we didn't play the game, but I've heard the game described as essentially Shakespearean tragedy, occasionally interrupted by Roxas having to do his 9 to 5. And it definitely encourages that interpretation because they go out of their way to refer to their bit of heartless wrangling as like work, right? Roxas doesn't just get time to rest, he gets like days off, he it's
Hey,
funny
Silent.
like that. Hey, Silent Chaos. Um, so I have such a soft spot for this one in particular. I think when I had first played through all these games in order, this was the one where I saw this and I was suddenly like, oh no, I get it. I get why people were obsessed over this thing. I get why people specifically are obsessed with the organization, why they love them in particular, because they are a bunch of, right, despite being so, like, in the lore, right, they're what's known as nobodies. They went over this a little bit in Chain of Memories, but they really solidify the lore here, right? You have a person, right? Split them in two. You have the heart and the body. The heart becomes a heartless. No, the body becomes something called a nobody, a being without a heart. Bit of a misnomer there. Don't worry about it. You get used to it.
Ignore what we saw in the first game as well.
Yeah, so you split those up. Particularly powerful nobodies retain their human forms and get cool powers like Dominion over Fire or Moon Rages or whatever, you know. Gun, you know, whatever.
Shout outs to a character who I hopefully am going to love, because I feel like I will.
Luck got like a little hint of Zigbar. He already loves him. Good. As he should. So they as nobodies who do not possess hearts, they are supposed to be emotionless. But because writing emotionless characters is like obviously kind of difficult, right? And more or less they come across as just being incredibly upset about not having emotions / very over dramatic, like melodramatic constantly. Like,
yeah, they don't have a heart, so they can't feel emotions. This makes them so
really
emotional.
Pissed off about it. It's kind of great. There is technically an in-lore explanation for why this is the case, that they don't get to in this game. Yeah. They don't get to that in this game. But so I won't mention it. But yeah, basically you have a bunch of people without hearts that are all incredibly emotional and incredibly melodramatic, and this is more or less accounted for within the story, because even some of them find it right, like they find it weird that, like, okay, so back up, right? So the main plot, right? So you have the newest recruit, Roxas, who I think we understand from almost like the word go is Sora's nobody, right? Because but Sora's nobody was like special, right? Because Sora was only a heartless for like 5 seconds, so he didn't retain any of the memories
transferred.
Yeah, he didn't retain the memories. Also, if you want to get into deep lore shit from like Birth by Sleep, he's kind of not Sora's nobody, but don't worry about it. Anyway, Roxas, newest recruit, number 13, is brought under the wing of Axel, the kind of assassin guy that slowly Sora began to grow on a little bit in Chain of Memories. And
ignore number 14 there. This will be discussed later.
Later on, they're joined by Xion, a very mysterious hooded girl, with a lot of, like, she's kind of the center of the mystery of this game. You know, what the fuck is up with Xion? What the fuck is up with Castle Oblivion? You know, what was going on there when we weren't like looking directly in Chain of Memories? A lot, apparently.
And they spent like multiple weeks in Castle Oblivion, even though I felt when we were playing the games, well, it felt like a day.
It's like 50 days.
Yeah. Axel just kind of disappears during all that time too. Ooh, that does actually. Let's rewind a moment. So
more rewinding.
Remember how we brought up that 14th member, Xion? Well, now that Axel's gone, guess who's gets paired up with Sora?
You mean Roxas?
Oh, not. Yeah, same thing.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not.
Okay, fine. Roxas.
So yeah, initial relationship we have, Roxas and Axel slowly become friends. Axel, like, his kind of walls start to get worn down, and he goes from like hanging out with this kid out of obligation to clearly actually having a soft spot for him in a way that some people have interpreted as romantic.
Ice cream is very important.
Ice cream is very important. And then Roxas meets Shion. Axel goes away. Roxas and Shion become the best of friends, and Shion goes from a person who, first off, we see again with the hood. She literally, we literally cannot see her face for the longest time until eventually one day, hood off. She not only sounds like Kairi, they say they share the same voice actress, but she also looks a lot like her too. Not exactly, but a lot like her.
Yeah, she has black hair, but face, kind of the same.
The face is about the same. And eventually trio all comes together. Axel finds out, oh no, he actually has a soft spot for these two little twerps. But of course the organization, as we saw, being a kind of creepy cult dedicated to studying the heartless and nobodies and
Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, we meet the leader, Xemnas, find out he has a whole goal of completing Kingdom Hearts, which is a very important plot point for KH2, as you'll see. So not too much of point going into that heavily, but yeah. Honestly, the plot of this game, there's like not that much hard plot, is there? It's really about the character interactions, right? We could describe how the mystery, right? Like, outside of what I just mentioned, all that's left to say as far as plot goes is just describing the mystery around Shion, how that goes down, right? Finding out her weird circumstances. But
yeah, it's initially played off as a little bit of foreshadowing into then tension before it kind of crescendos into a status quo.
This is why I was actually quite sure this would be a short stream, because again, the main appeal of this really is character interactions and the character arcs that happen here. I know with Luck, I know with Luck I was very insistent, and Axel's my favorite character. I've always viewed this as, well, Roxas is the main character. Really, this is Axel's character arc. This is his story, more or less. And that he's the one that like grows and changes the most, though a lot of it is kind of in the background. A lot of it's in the reports, a lot of it is in reading between the lines with him.
Yeah, and just a character moment I do want to bring up is Axel, of course. His initial reluctance with Roxas we already talked about, but also with Shion, where there was kind of an interesting moment where whenever it cut to more of his POV, she remained hooded. It took a little, and for him actually admitting, you know what, a friend of a friend is my friend. And then he was actually able to see her face then.
Yeah, him and a lot of the other organization members seem straight up creeped out by her.
Poppet.
Yeah. Zigbar calls her Poppet, which is funny. But a lot of them, either they just straight up do not view her as a person. Sykes calls her It, for example. Or they seem just a little bit weirded out by her. Roxas and Axel are basically the only ones to actually see any humanity in her. It's actually because of that I've noticed quite a high amount of people going for some kind of trans interpretation of her character, and this makes sense for a lot of reasons, including lore reasons. Because I really want to talk about the character interaction stuff, I'm fine just already spoiling what is up with her character, exactly what the mystery around her is.
I'm okay with that.
I want to talk. I want to. I want to gush about all the various characters and the interwoven relationships. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, and I think this is the perfect segue for it.
So Shion, we find out, was another experiment in the replica program alongside Replica Riku, aka Repliku from Chain of Memories. She's a special one in that she was made to essentially absorb Roxas's powers, essentially being the backup for the backup that they had. They want to complete Kingdom Hearts, they need a Keyblade wielder to do that, and Roxas or Shion is easier to control than Sora, so they were bankrolling that at least one of them would pan out okay. As a result, Shion has basically no real appearance of her own. Her appearance seems to be based off of what other people imprint upon her. Roxas and Axel seem to be the close. They seem to see something that's closest to the real her, which is the black-haired girl that looks kind of like Kyrie. Others, I think Sayek sees like an actual literal blank puppet. Zigbar sees a character that we have not seen yet that looks a lot like Roxas. And I think even Axel mentions seeing her seeing her as being more like Namine before they really became friends. So as a result, she's a very unique existence. She has a very tenuous grasp on her existence. Pretty much the other main drama of the game is that at some point either both her and Roxas are in extended comas, and this seems to be an exact direct result of the other kind of draining the power of the other. So a lot of the big drama becomes in do nobodies, do these strange existences have a right to exist? What about two people that literally, the inherent tragedy of two best friends who just meet each other, who literally cannot coexist as a matter of physics, basically.
Mm-hmm. Elsewise, one is gonna get drained.
That's where the Shakespearean part of it comes in. And of course you have in the background Axel, who's caught in the back, and who like grows attached to these two and then just has to sit there and watch. Like maybe there was a point where he could have done more. But definitely by the time he actually does get around to doing something and actually gaining the conviction to do something, it becomes far, far too late. Hence the Shakespearean tragedy of it all. Neither Roxas ends up in Twilight Town with no memory of what had happened. Shion disappears completely, and no one even has any memory of her after that fact.
I want to just put a small asterisk on that. They kind of imply some people got some memories of her.
Maybe some stray memories here and there. But yeah, a lot of this conflict about nobodies is directly introduced through the character Diz, mysterious guy.
He's a bitch.
Yeah, voiced by Christopher Lee in Chain of Memories, but I think they had a different voice actor for him in this one. Christopher Lee was already old when they recorded that one. I don't blame them.
Yeah,
I think he was at least still alive though when this one was around, but he was very old.
Hard.
Yeah. So he's he seems to have quite the distaste for nobodies. He like directly insults Namine to her face, basically. Repeatedly.
He directly says like nobodies aren't real. They're not people.
Yeah. Which is interesting because again, he's ostensibly on team good guy here. So having him so staunchly be like, "Oh yeah, all these characters that you as the player would be super attached to, I don't think they're real, nor do I think they deserve rights."
In a weird way, I kind of think that's interesting as a story point because it's doing a character that you're supposed to side with, the nobodies. And then the person that is helping the hero is against the person you want to side with.
Interesting as a story point. Wild for a game meant for 10-year-olds. You there?
I am. Okay. I was just listening.
Okay.
And like honestly, if he had his way, I think he would have tried getting both, I almost said Namine, no. Both Shion and Roxas killed.
Well, we'll see what goes on with Roxas over here in KH2 in a bit, but more or less now that the plot stuff is out of the way. Oh yeah, what other plot line do we have? We have Riku. Riku's important. He's literally in the poster that I put here for the stream layout. Riku is very important. So Riku has basically assigned himself as the Dark Knight, the guardian of Sora's tomb, essentially.
I will do evil things in order to help my best friend.
Yeah,
that I totally don't have a romantic crush on.
They're very good friends, roommates even. Very good friends. Riku definitely hasn't fallen in love, like deeply in love with Sora in between these games. It's not like literally the voice actor but like agrees with that interpretation, you know?
Hmm. Yeah, also his main conflict is, well, as we said, he's willing to do dark things to help out Sora, as well as the fact that he is struggling with internal darkness.
So in Chain of Memories, that was like his whole arc, right? You have this whole darkness power thing that you use in that game. Brings him closer and closer to being like Xehanort. He starts off afraid of it, and then later finds out he can actually harness it without losing himself. And at the end of this game, he is actually a boss where he like digivolves into Xehanort, into the Darkseeker
Mhm.
and some Heartless form. And even has to like meet Diz where he still looks like that. um
Yeah, because keep in mind, as we said with the story,
mm,
Thor's in a coma, he needs all his memories, and what do you know what happened to those memories? It's in two separate people.
mm,
So,
which
oh,
which okay, actually this is one thing, the one unfortunate thing of the order that we're doing this in. um so I don't know if you knew this. This game actually came out after KH2.
oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So, but in the, because chronologically it takes place, before this is where the collection puts it in the order. But due to watching this one first, there are a few mysteries in KH2 that you now just know the answer to. Um,
Oh,
one including the one big one is in the prologue. You're not really supposed to know what Roxas's deal is. He's supposed to
no,
be a
you're
new
just
character
supposed to
you've
think of him
literally
as a kid.
yeah, you're supposed to be a new character you've literally never met before. No, nor do you really know why Axel is looking for him.
Hmm.
Um, the other big one is that there is this like Xehanort looking guy hanging around talking with Diz, and you're supposed to be like, oh, did he return? What is it? Now you know it's Riku.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
now you
that
just
is kind of a
know.
bit of a shame.
Now you just know.
If it wasn't for the fact that I knew this ahead of time, if I saw that, I was going to think, oh, he's secretly evil. That tracks.
Mm. No, no. But so yeah, there are a few mysteries here and there. I think I prefer it this way just because I don't know. I
Story.
prefer, yeah, I prefer going in with the context, with the story, and this does have a lot of story and a lot of drama. I think like Axel's character moments in KH2 land better once you understand this about him. And the tragedy of Roxas and of all these guys, like this can't just be a prologue to another game. It has to be a
Mhm.
whole experience. So yeah, because of that, that's why otherwise I would have switched up the order. I would have forced you to, but I wanted to do it like this intentionally.
Oh, okay, okay.
So yeah. Other character, so let's basically the plot out of the way, more or less. Character stuff. What do we got? So we have like 13 organization members, right? By the end, you did not, you're I don't think you know all of them
No,
yet. Like you met
no.
them,
By
but
the Yeah, by the vibe of it, most of them are important. Conveniently, the ones also killed off.
yeah.
The ones who are remaining, their main thing seems to be a guy who's stupid but knows a lot somehow, a guy who knows a lot and intentionally keeps his mouth shut because he finds it amusing, uh, angst with ties with, I almost said Riku, no, angst with ties to Axel, and then the boss who's definitely not having a secret plan that he didn't tell.
Demix, Zigbar, Syx, Zemnis in that order. Yes.
Probably, I forgot their names.
Okay. Um, yeah, because this is my second rodeo with this is my second time going all the way through this series. I now actually have a decentish grasp on all these characters. I don't think it's necessary to, though, to get like a good understanding of the story or to even just enjoy it. Like
Mhm.
as we're going through the reports, right? I was describing to you like all the different like interwoven alliances, the different intentions of some of them, how some of them are more like neutrally or even good aligned versus like more
Yeah,
evil
or like
aligned, right?
Yeah, or like how Axel and Sayax are like
Yeah.
close friends in the past, and Axel's just clinging on to that.
Well, see, that one I actually think is important. That one I would actually say
Well, yeah,
is
yeah,
a
that's
more
definitely
important
important,
dynamic,
but
but
it's good for that context.
more in my brain when I was thinking of like extra shit that you don't really need to know but maybe is cool to know is like how like it's how like Lexaeus, actually probably wasn't that much of a traitor, and how
Oh yeah, stuff revealed in the
yeah,
journal.
yeah, or like how Zexion and Vexen weren't really involved in the plot with Larxene and Marluxia. They were just kind of dragged into it because essentially because they were like too skilled in what they could do. They were too close to the replica program, and essentially
Mhm.
Sayax and slash Zemnis. I think honestly Sayax more than anything thought they were dangerous. We find, but like the things that are more front and center that are that aren't just shoved to the journals are things like, yeah, Sayax and Axel's past, the fact that they were once friends when they were both humans, and Axel's current position as the one that does the dirty work. The icky jobs, I
Mhm.
think, is the exact wording he uses
In
in
a
the
weird way, I
organization.
think, yeah, in a weird way, I think he kind of like parallels Riku with that,
He
of where it's like
does.
I'm the one trying to do the icky.
He is a part of his own, and they do have their own trio. There's a lot of these trios where it's like different elements, right? You got the fire guy, the earth guy. No. Earth, water, air is usually how they do it. So where does Axel come in being fire? He's special, I guess. Sax and Axel are
Yeah,
kind
there's
of, there's
fire,
people with their
keyblade, and keyblade. Does that count?
no, but but yeah, Axel's whole dynamic there, I think, is actually interesting, and not just hidden in notes. It's just one of those things you have to pay attention to a little more. um Again, he's my favorite guy, so I have so much to say about him, and I will say everything about him, so you're gonna, I have you here, you're stuck with
Yes,
me.
looking forward to it.
um
Not biased TM.
One thing that I remember I really pointed out to you was the way that Axel's demeanor sometimes changed, right? When he was talking to Roxas, especially at the beginning when he was kind of trying to fake pleasantries, to when he's more genuinely warm at the end where he gets some vulnerability, versus the like insane flip in personality he does when he's with any of the organization members, where instantly he's like very cold, right? Very sassy in a way that has
Yeah,
that changes from, like, with Roxas he's like good natured sassy. He goes to like being kind of biting with the
yeah.
things that
It's
he
the
says.
difference of sassy of like, nah, I'm just kind of screwing with you because I want to be friendly with you. To the, you forgot this. You're a little bit of an idiot, aren't you?
Yeah, it's the I'm not okay with like all the conversations him and Sykes have, like, just how wrought they are. I am an open Sykes Axel shipper. That's so I have a lot of brainworms about their dynamic specifically.
Of
uh
course, of course.
yeah, just the whole, I don't know, just the whole like ex childhood friends to
Enemies to lovers.
enemies to lovers. Not even
Friends to
enemies. Not even enemies is
friends
the
to
thing,
bitches to
right?
lovers.
Right, because like the whole thing about how, and a lot of people pointed this out, that the reason why Axel does the icky jobs is essentially to maintain some some level of Cyax's approval, right? To try
Yeah,
and help him in, like, with respect to their old friendship, their old
relation.
relationship,
Mhm.
and how it's kind of destroyed them essentially.
Where Axel kind of positioned himself as a tool, and Sayak has been positioned as, well, the one who could honestly do without Axel and just likes him being useful.
It's heavily implied that Saix was not expecting, nor did he particularly want Axel to come back alive from the Castle Oblivion mission, if not outright
Was
stated.
was that one of the journals where it was just like remarked he was surprised?
I think it was there. It was also just, in the actual text too, where he just openly told Roxas, like, yeah, he's probably dead. Like, Zyx is not even really shy about how he probably would have preferred it if Axel didn't come, and even Axel later
Mhm.
says that yeah, he's probably more like some of those traders, put in quotes traders, because not all of them were real traders. Some of them were just guys that
Mhm.
were a little too good at their jobs, were figuring out things a little too fast. Um, maybe this is a
Yeah.
little spoiler that I could put out. The fact that nobodies, one of the reasons why the nobodies are all being such melodramatic little bitches is because that whole thing about nobodies not having hearts. So Zemnis manipulates all of them. How he manipulates all of them is that he convinces them that if they complete Kingdom Hearts, they can all have hearts again, or something to that effect. He phrases it a
Yeah.
few different ways, a few different times that clearly shows that he's not intending on keeping any of these promises. But it also becomes kind of like clear that the whole thing about them being emotionless is like bullshit, right?
Oh,
Um
absolutely. Like from the get go.
in story it's bullshit. Not just bullshit from a writing perspective, but like in addressed in story, these guys are having all kinds of emotions and are feeling all kinds of gaslit about being told that they don't have emotions. Because they do, because they do have emotions. They do regrow their hearts and their emotions over time.
Like
Um,
you could literally just tell
you
off the
can.
warmth and yeah, from the warmth of the trio's relation with each other to some of the levels of fear that they have if something goes awry. Like, we have Roxas missing Axel. Shion has a small period of time where she loses her ability to use the Keyblade, and like there's genuine concern between the three of them. So like, what are these if not emotion?
We see all of Axel's journal entries, and he just seems so conflicted all the time, and so like trying to figure out like what the right thing even is to do. You know, trying to do right by these kids that have really begun to look up to him. And he it fucking wrecks him. It wrecks him is what it
He was
does.
not built to become a father.
No, he was not, especially since he's not that much older than them. But that's fun. That's that's for another
It's like
time.
what, 3, 4 years difference?
If yeah, like 3, 4, maybe 5. The ages in Kingdom Hearts are flexible, as we found out. There's like not canonical ages for any of these motherfuckers. Which is honestly why I still consider it like relatively fair game to ship them. It's like we don't know, like their ages are all whatever, like
Their ages are what the story needs it to
their
be.
ages are shrugs non-committally, like it's whatever.
Mhm.
Um, so he is so he is straight up growing a heart at some point, and this seems to be accelerated by being around Roxas and Shion. And I wouldn't be surprised if that alone was enough to mark him as a traitor by these guys. Just the fact that like he's gaining emotions, is self-aware about that, and if he starts telling the others that that's a thing you can do, Zemnis loses his point of control
Cons.
over a good amount of them.
That too.
Now, of course, not all of them. Of course, not all the members particularly care about
I'm
getting their hearts
convinced.
back.
Yeah, I'm convinced Syx would indeed take is Xehanort Zemnis, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know why I keep getting those names confused.
We're the same
I'm
person. It's
convinced
fine.
that he. Yeah, I'm convinced he would take Zemnis's side over Axel if it did come to it.
Well, you'll have to wait for KH3 for that. But
Oof.
yeah, it's the ones that are left at the end are the ones that right. You have like what, Demix, who's gonna keep his fucking mouth shut because that's what Demix does best. And then you have right like Zigbar, Luxord. Oh my god, who's that other guy? Who's the ponytail? Who's the black-haired ponytail Japanese guy? Um
I don't know. You're supposed to be my guide on this.
yeah, see, even I don't know all these names. Even I don't know all of them all the time. Well, he's like the one that's like not I mean, he's not terribly important. If I'm being honest, Luxeus is.
Hmm.
Even Luxeus is more important. Who is this guy? Where is he? Come on. Show me, show me, show me, show me. Zaldin? Zaldin.
Well, it
Zaldin.
has an X in it, so it's probably right.
Zaldin. Yeah, so you got like Luxord, Zaldin, Zigbar, Syx, right? None of those motherfuckers care if they get their hearts back or not. They don't care, and they're
Mhm.
the only ones that are left essentially by the time this is all over. I mean, Axel's still like around, but crash out imminent at this point.
Yeah.
We leave him with both of his little guys missing as he's staring out a window, knowing that he's probably going to be sent on a mission to drag them back.
Or if not, just outright eliminate.
Yeah, so crash out imminent with him.
Mhm.
His days in the organization are fucking numbered. So yeah, all the only ones left are just the ones that were apathetic about it, who don't care.
The ones who are kind of just there because it's something to do.
I almost called Zigbar by his government name. Zigbar I was telling you, right? Zigbar is the only one in the notes who's mentioned to be a senior member. At first you were confused,
Yes.
right? Because they mentioned some guys are founding members versus some guys are just regular members.
Mhm.
I know for a second you assumed that meant he was like lower than the founding members or hadn't been around, and then I had to clarify with you that like no, slight spoiler,
Translation.
he's been around since before everyone, since before all these motherfuckers basically. He knows what's up. He's definitely among those that went through this willingly. Which I think that's literally why Axel and Syx are not referred to as founding members, despite the fact that they were definitely there from pretty early on. They didn't go through the change willingly.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you pretty much just have the guys who, again, either Demix who knows how to keep his fucking mouth shut, or the rest of them being guys that knew what they were getting into, know what's up, and are totally down for it.
They're the ones that don't need manipulation.
And then there's Luxord, who just wants to go gambling. Luxord just
I can't wait to meet him.
Luxord just wants to go. I think you can, because you're gonna be. I was annoyed as hell at his boss fight. His boss fight's annoying. It's annoying.
Oh, no, I'm a bit disappointed.
Like he's a fun character, but basically like you you fight him and you're just like, why the fuck am I playing Rechain of Memories again? Get out. Get these cards out of here.
Oh no, he has a card gimmick.
Yeah, because he's a gambler.
I'm gonna die. I'm gonna commit suicide.
Oh my god, I'm like looking at the screenshots of him right now. I'm looking at him in KH3, looking all high definition, on the fucking like Black Pearl from Pirates of the Caribbean. Here, you got check out this image. Check this out. Oh gosh, KH3 is such a gift.
Oh goodness.
KH3 is such a gift.
I forgot about the art style change in each world.
The art style change is honestly genuinely. I mean, there's also just an art style change from like. Basically, you're dealing with like KH1, KH2 graphics. Like PS2 graphics, more or less.
I mean, I
all
don't
the
think
way
it's
until...
gonna look that realistic-ish.
No. I mean, no. Just the funny thing. No, just let me. You're dealing with in these games KH2 graphics, or even like lower res, all the way up until all of a sudden you're not. All of a sudden it's a PS4 game and you're just really confused. It's like such a leap. You will be actually legitimately jarred, I promise. Like when we get around to like Dream Drop Distance, which was a 3DS game, I think, right? So that's like pretty like, again, you got the KH1 level graphics more or less. And then all of a sudden the like 2.8 demo shows up. And it's just like so many textures. Like so many.
Oh no.
It's really funny. Like here, you gotta here's another thing that just shows you the image, that shows you the like graphics jump.
Okay. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So we're dealing with. I don't want to get too bogged down in images here while we're since we're doing it like this.
Images chat can't even see.
Yeah, yeah. But basically, I think you'll find it. I think you'll find it interesting.
Mhm.
But yeah, Luxord. He's just a guy. He just likes gambling. What can I say? He's
He's just like me for real, even though
yeah.
I don't actually gamble.
Hmm. Um. Okay. Let's. I want to get this one to like a solid hour. I'd like that. What else is there to discuss? About this though. What haven't we gotten to aside from I don't know anything?
Shion's a reflection of memories that Roxas has of Sora, or from
Oh
Sora.
yeah, yeah. Shion is like this. I think this is what I was talking about with the trans headcanon, that she is Sora's memories of Kairi. Essentially, that's how her persona essentially got put together. Which is again, that's I think it's pretty easy to see how you could derive a trans headcanon from that.
Hmm.
Um,
In fact, it's kind of funny because I had just made a joke about, oh, what did she just get dead named? When I forgot who called her Poppet. I was thinking like, oh, okay,
Zigbar.
yeah,
Yeah.
Ziglar. Was just like, oh, okay, what is that supposed to be like her real name, not her organization name? And then, of course, I was like, ah, so he's dead naming her because he's a dick. And
Plus,
Lily was like, you
yeah.
know what? Funny you say that. Trans headcanons.
Plus again, the fact that Saix keeps on calling her it, not respecting her pronouns as well. It's there. It's there, and I grow closer and closer to just viewing it as like flat out canon. With every passing day.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, mostly. I'm just excited for KH2 at this point. Also because I'll be dual streaming that one on YouTube. So that's gonna be a new chapter, I think, for us with these streams. I'm hoping that January is gonna be a good month for me. For a couple reasons. So luck knows the lore.
Hello.
You guys don't get to know everything about me. What can I say?
All
Watch
right, I'm
my
gonna tell you everything about her.
watch my
All right, so
watch my fucking video essays where I do all my self therapy sessions, I guess. But
yeah.
you know what I
All
mean.
right, so what's going on is Lily won the lotto. You know, like the 1 billion
Yeah,
lotto.
yeah,
Yeah, she
yeah,
won it
yeah, yeah,
totally.
yeah, yeah.
Actually,
Um,
did anyone win that? I
I
need to look that up.
don't even fucking know. Um, so yeah, I think now we're getting to the point where like I said before, you're starting to speak Kingdom Hearts. You're starting to understand the lore, and you're getting a good footing for like how we're gonna get into the for the other games going forward. There
Yeah,
was even
it
some things
feels
that
so. Yeah, it feels like the lore is if you take it slowly, it's easy to understand. But if it's explained to you, it feels so maximalist and dense. It's just incomprehensible.
that is, I mean, that's the thing that every Kingdom Hearts fan has been saying for a while. That it's like, yeah, if you try to explain in a YouTube video, it's funny because it's like super convoluted, but it's meant to be consumed over the course of like 200
Multiple games.
hours. you know,
Yeah.
you
But
know.
yeah, now I could say with confidence that, like, oh, I get it.
hmm And I have gone out of my way to explain a few things to you here and there. Things like the Keyblade War.
Hmm.
I've tried to, because the lore of Kingdom Hearts also has changed somewhat as we've gone forward. Things like how many Keyblade wielders you're even allowed to have at once.
Yeah,
That
because
question has
we went.
changed.
Yeah, because we immediately already had a difference, well, not a change in that, where it was
Mhm.
just like, oh yeah, Sora has the one and only special Keyblade, and then it's like, okay, now we have Roxas, Shion,
Mickey has his own
Riku,
Keyblade
and
as well.
funny
Riku
enough,
doesn't
I
have a
was just
Keyblade yet.
didn't he just
Yet.
steal it? But he's technically yet he's able to wield them,
Yeah, Roxas
which is
tossed him his Keyblade and he was able to wield it.
yeah. But like, yeah, even Mickey had a Keyblade. So like, some lore things are being adjusted.
But even that with Riku, it could legitimately be explained as the whole thing with KH1, him kind of being the intended Keyblade wielder originally.
Is
Um,
that something we're supposed to know?
yeah, right. So like
Oh,
the
okay.
whole thing that happens at the beginning of KH1, right? The Destiny Islands is getting destroyed. Riku is supposed to become the Keyblade wielder. But then his heart is like
But he gives
overtaken
into
by darkness,
darkness.
so it just kind of latches on to the closest pretty all right kid next to him, Sora. And
Hmm.
that's how Sora becomes the Keyblade. And Mickey's is supposed to be special. Mickey's is like a different one that's like the inverse of the Kingdom Key is the one that Sora wields is called. I
Hmm.
think that one in particular remains to be special as you even going forward. Um, but they do, as you go forward, just start to be like, yeah, there's just like a ton of Keyblade wielders. It's not, it's not that special, even if Sora still manages to be a very special boy in some way. That that
It's like
that's
Star
a
Wars.
retcon. That's a retcon.
Yeah, it's like Star Wars, where it's just like, oh dang, Luke, Obi-Wan are like the last Jedi, and then there's, Yoda, and then there's Darth Vader, and then you get into the prequels where like, oh yeah, no, it's like an entire thing.
Yeah, yeah. And that later you find out Ahsoka's still around. You got that kid from like
Malcastus,
Rebels. What's his name?
uh, it's on the tip
Ezra.
of my
Ezra
tongue.
Bridger. Ezra Bridger.
I was gonna say Jabba the Hutt just because of the joke where he
No.
lies and says, I'm Jabba.
Oh my god. Um.
Sorry, it's a fandom joke.
But yeah, it's there's a lot of them running around
Hmm.
later on. Birth by Sleep will get into it more. There is one thing I keep on going back and forth on is whether we should play the mobile game, because that basically has all of the extended like Keyblade War lore. It basically depicts the Keyblade War more or less. There is technically a cutscene movie in the collection that kind of does like a few highlights, basically. I found that movie to be very hard to follow, not gonna lie, in my first viewing. I did not really enjoy it much. But I'm also not sure if like us sitting down for a long ass mobile game is the answer either. I don't have much patience for mobile games. I barely have patience for Twisted Wonderland, and I actually fucking like that thing.
Ah. We'll
So yeah.
decide once we get to it. We might just do another lore movie.
Again, the lore movie is like condenses it so much. I actively think it's hard to follow. Is the
Oh.
thing. And you have to watch it anyway because it depicts like the end of it in from like a certain perspective. We'd have to watch the lore movie anyway, but really it's just like, do we also want to do the mobile game? If we did the mobile game, I would probably want us to do it at like the end, honestly, once we're done with everything.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I feel like by the time we get around to KH3, because I'm definitely not doing Memory of Melody. By the time we get to KH3, I'll probably more or less be Kingdom Hearts. I'll probably be kind of tired of it by then. I'll want to play something else. Uh,
Fair, fair.
so yeah, we're probably not going to unless I don't know, unless people just really want it for some reason. I think it's fine. I don't know. There I sometimes get floored sometimes when I go to like fan fiction, AO3 or whatever, and KH tag,
Hmm.
because like there are some writers out there that know so much lore that like I can't even begin to understand. There is so much more to this that even I have only really scratched the surface by just playing like the main games, it's it's complicated. It is, and you can go really
That's Kingdom
really deep
Hearts.
into it. Um, I'm just not sure if it's like I think you can speak Kingdom Hearts, not really get the whole entire picture, and still feel like you're having a good complete experience. Like, yeah, there are those that really only play the mainline games because the combat's really good and they're not going to be paying attention to the story at all. I don't want us to do that, right? But we can get like the main lore. We can understand the main lore.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't have to go too deep down the rabbit hole. We can leave that for
Yeah, as long as
the
we get the
freaks.
important stuff that has good story and character like we just did with
Mm-hmm.
358 divided by 2, then I think it's going to be worth it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's also why I'm not gonna do Melody of Memory for us. That's a rhythm game. I think ostensibly there's like some lore in it. I just never got around to finishing it. Is the thing. I like I like rhythm games, and I could not bring myself to finish it.
Hmm.
Um, wasn't like bad, but you know, it's just not. There's just not that much to it. I didn't think. I guess I can't say what the story was about without spoiling it too much. It like story wise, it almost reminded me of like Recoded, honestly, and we're gonna get to that one when we get to it. That's another cutscene movie. Um, Recoded is incredibly fucking dull. It's incredibly dull
Is
and
it?
pretty
Oh,
unnecessary.
that's kind of
Um,
sad.
yeah, this movie that we just saw is maybe the only decent cutscene movie that we're gonna get here. But
Okay,
that being
now I
said,
know why you're
yeah,
hyping it so much.
yeah, it's the only decent one. All the other cutscene movies are shit. But at the very least, the I think the spin-off games from here on out are like I don't think there's a bad game from here on out. Honestly,
Oh, okay.
Chain of
Well,
Memories is
that's
the
good.
only one that I would consider bad.
Hmm.
So I think generally it'll be a better experience, even if every once in a while we have to, eat our fucking lore vegetables, take our medicine, and watch a movie, and then talk about it for a bit.
Yeah, to be fair, this one was really worth it. Loved the character interactions. Loved seeing Axel be like, "Shit, do I actually care about these kids?"
And now when I describe to you all my fan fiction, you will understand.
Yes.
You will understand. But I think you know what. I think we managed to like get the stream to about an hour, and we've been spinning our wheels for a little bit here anyway. So, um, yeah, there's not too much else to say. I don't know. I think if this was like an actual movie review, we might discuss structure or directing or anything. This is one that's good in spite of the fact that it's not actually all that well constructed as a movie. They make no attempt to make it an actual movie. It really is just a collection of cutscenes.
Yeah.
Um, so in spite of that, it still is quite good.
No, absolute.
Yeah, I really should just actually play the game one of these days if I find the time. You will know. I literally have a copy of the game with the box and everything. So I have um I have a good pristine DS copy of it. Maybe I don't know.
I do remember you bringing that up.
Yeah, yeah. I mean I went out of my way to get copies of like of a lot of them. So I have Chain of Memories on Game Boy, and also Recoded on DS as well. The only DS one that I don't have is Dream Drop Distance, and that's because I think the PS port is satisfactory. Honestly, Dream Drop Distance, that one gets some flack. I am a defender. I'm a defender for sure.
Hmm. You
Um,
know what? Entirely fair.
I think I have a maybe not so legal copy of Birth by Sleep on my very very hacked PS Vita.
Hell yeah. I mean, perfectly legal, perfectly obtained,
Yeah,
perfectly
yeah.
normal.
Don't worry
Back to
about it.
complain.
I definitely paid $80 for a copy of Birth by Sleep. Don't worry about it. Um, that shit's insane. Ever since the secondhand game market went nutso, uh, the piracy's become a more and more appealing. What can I say? Go. Here's my instructions to all of you guys. Go.
Watch One
Go.
Piece.
Watch One Piece. Go to eBay. Right. Get a PS Vita. Get a Japanese one. One cheap, less than $100. Go buy one, and then go hack it. Get a PSP emulator on it, and bada bing, bada boom. You have a nice little handheld that can handle like a lot of PS1 and PS2 games, honestly. Yeah, also the like modding community in that one is pretty robust, so you have a lot of I have like a fun like Persona 5 background theme on mine, complete with music. It's cute. Um there you go. And then do the same thing to your 3DS, or purchase a 3DS at a cheap price, as if you can. I think that one's harder to get at a cheap price nowadays. But remember, if you're going to be hacking it anyway, the Japanese ones are cheaper. and you're gonna be region unlocking it anyway. So don't worry. Honestly, I literally just got a Japanese one just because I wanted it to be pink. So I think that thing saved my fucking life. I say half joking because remember when I lost my phone for like a whole like month last year? That was my AO3 machine for a while. Also, that's how I took a lot of footage for a video that's coming up soon. But that was for that was because I wanted a specific feel with the camera.
Yeah. Also, you know what they say: if it has a screen, it can AO3. I think that
as a screen, AO3 can be seen. Close enough. Anyway, on that, let's declare a good night, everyone.
Well then, lurkers, chatters, here for a little, here for a while. I thank you all the same. This is Luck powering off, and remember, everyone, lucky days.
And 3, 2, 1.
Good night.
Wait. Oh shit, I forgot to wish you guys a happy new year, so happy new year. Have a good night. Have a good night.
I already clicked the stop stream button. Happy new year.
It's fine, happy new year. See ya next week for KH2.